Welcome back.
Hey, great to share some crazy radio stories with you.
Yeah, Radio Stories with Uncle Stevie. Um, we just did a live stream podcast type deal, and we'd like to count it back. We're going to record a few more, and if you haven't watched the live feed, just go back and watch that, and you understand what I'm fixing to say. I'm going to shut up and let you go.
Well, uh, so so things. There, I'll tell you a couple of funny ones. Uh, so I'm at this radio station that we talked about in the first episode, and I get a call one night uh, from a guy, and he's a little bit hysterical, and he says the guy that uh, was supposed to come. I was working till 4 a.m. and a guy was supposed to come in at 4 and relieve me on a Sunday morning, and his friend calls me and says, uh, "Chris is coming to the station and he's been drinking and he's got a knife and you don't need to let him in." And he's hysterical, and I'm like, "Wait, can you say that again?"
Right?
and and I don't know. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, and so I said, "What do you mean he's got a knife?" And he said, "Well, we got into a fight, and he stabbed me, and he's coming to the station." And I said, "Whoa, wait, he stabbed you. Are you hurt? Where did he stab you?" And he said, "Sort of all over." And I said, "Okay, first thing you need to do is hang up and call 911. You don't need to be talking to me, and I'll deal with him when he gets here." And so um, I get him off the phone, and a few minutes later, the phone rings again. It's Chris McCoy. That wasn't his real name anyway. His sign off used to be, "Remember, Jesus is the real McCoy." Anyway, so uh, this dude calls me. He is obviously drunk. And he says, "I don't know I forget his friend's name. I don't know what my friend told you, but I'm fine and I'm coming to work." And I'm like, "You're not fine and it's okay. I'll get somebody to cover your shift. Don't worry about it. Not a big deal. You probably need to just go home, sleep it off." And he starts to yell and curse, and he's like, "I'm coming. I'll be there." And he just sounded like he was just out of control. And so now I'm thinking, well, this is great because he has a key. I can't keep him from coming in. If he comes to the station at 4 o'clock in the morning and he's drunk and he has a knife and he insists on getting on the radio, it's probably my responsibility to not let him, but I'm not sure I can stop him.
Right?
And um, so I called uh, the local police and I said, "I got a little situation here, and if you could kind of patrol and come around here around 4 o'clock this morning, it'd be really nice because I don't know what's going to happen." And I called my friend that also worked there. And we didn't have cell phones back then. It's kind of a little more difficult in the
Yeah.
80s to get a hold of people. But I called my buddy because I was going to get him to come in, take that shift, and I couldn't get him on the phone. I don't know why, but I couldn't get him on the phone. And so I'm like, "Well, I'm in for the long haul because the next shift is 4 to noon. So I guess I'd come in at 10 o'clock that night, and it looked like I was just going to be on the air till noon." So I'm like, "Okay, whatever. Just hope this guy doesn't come to the station because I'm gonna have to somehow keep him off a microphone. I can't let him be on a microphone because the way he's screaming and yelling, and it's Christian radio. We can't do that." And so I guess he passed out. He didn't show up, and my buddy finally got the message and came in about 6 that morning and relieved me. And so I made the mistake of telling there were two guys I worked with. Love these guys. We had so much fun together. But I made the mistake of telling them the story. Shouldn't have done that. So they went and bought a box of plastic knives, right? And they got a red marker and marked up the knives so they had blood on them. And they hid them all over the radio station with little notes. I'm coming for you. And every time I would get a record out of an album, a knife would fall out. Or I'd go to take the meter readings, and I'd pick the clipboard up, and a knife would fall out. You go to the restroom and, grab a paper towel, and a knife would fall. It was all night long. And that was the kind of relationship we had.
Right.
It was just fun. But that guy, I called the PD, the program director, that Monday morning, and I said, "You need to know what happened last night, because I'm not dealing with this again next weekend, right?" So I figure I'm going to go ahead and let the boss know. And I guess he called him and fired him, and so I'm on the air, and I see the front door just had a deadbolt on it, so you got to have a key to go in or out. I see this guy come in. He walks past the window of the studio. He's gone for a second. He walks back again, and he disappears. And I thought, well, that's weird. I just assumed he came in and got something and left, right? So I didn't think about it. 2 or 3 hours later, I get up to walk. You're sitting in that studio for 6 hours. You got to get up every now and then. So I go out in the hall, and I go to the front door, kind of do a weather check, and I lean on the door, and the door pops open, and I realize he left without locking the door. And we weren't in a great neighborhood. And so I'd been in a radio station by myself in the middle of the night with the door unlocked, because this joker didn't lock the door on his way out. I can tell you it was a pretty nervous next few hours.
Right.
Because that big building, I don't know if somebody's in the building, so I survived that as well, obviously. But yeah, so we had a guy that worked there that one night he got a phone call, and the guy says, "I'm going to get you because you turned my wife against me, and I'm going to get you." And the guy's going, what are you talking about? I don't know who you are. And he says, "Well, you're wearing a red shirt." He looks down, he's wearing a red shirt, and the guy says, I am watching you right now, and I'm going to get you before you leave that studio. And he looks out the window that was kind of behind the control board, like window over there, and he looks out and sees a dude in a pickup truck across the street. He's got a rifle aimed at the window.
Holy cow.
And he's telling him, "I'm going to get you." And so, once again, when you're on the radio and you're the only guy there, it's not like you can go hide under the covers, because you got to keep the station on the air.
Yeah.
And so it's not like he could get away from the window. And so he called the police. By the time the cops got there, the guy was gone. But that's the kind of crazy people come out of the woodwork in the middle of the night, and for some reason they love radio people. I don't know. I've seen a few of those, but I had another one that showed up one time for an interview, and he came in and he had a little cassette case. If you remember, they look like a briefcase, but it's about this big, and it would like hold 12 cassettes or something. He had his resume folded in half and tucked in his little case, and he was carrying it like a briefcase. It was July, and he's wearing a 3-piece corduroy suit, and it's like 95 degrees outside. So that was a little weird. He comes in and interviews with me. He's very strange. I got his resume. I sent him on his way, and he calls me a couple days later. When do I start? Well, I'm interviewing, and haven't made a decision yet. But if we decide we're need to talk to you again, we'll call you. Well, he does this every couple days, and I keep trying to put him off. I'm trying to be nice, and finally he calls one day and he says, "I know why you're doing this." I said, "Doing what?" And he said, "You're not going to hire me." And I said, "Well, maybe not." And he said, "It's because my wife is sending telepathic messages to you. She did this at my last job and it cost me my job. And she's doing it to you too. I know she's doing it. And because she's sending these telepathic messages, you're never going to hire me. And it's all because of her. And I'm like, dude, I promise I'm not getting any messages from anybody except you. And I'm not going to hire you if we're going to have these kind of conversations.
Right?
And so I'm on the air one day. Here's a rule. If you're the last guy out, lock the door. This is a repeating problem, right? Lock the door on your way out. So I'm on the air. The last guy out didn't lock the door, and I'm working. I'm literally on the air. Microphone's on. I'm in the middle of a break. Front door to the station pops open, and this dude with the corduroy suit and the little tiny briefcase. And he comes in, and he's obviously angry, and he comes in, sits down, and I'm thinking, if it gets really bad, do I just turn the microphone on and just yell 911, or what do what do I do? And so he comes in, and he's the whole thing about his wife and the telepathic messages, and he insists that I have to hire him, and all I can think about is, how do I get this guy out of my studio without sustaining some kind of injury? And so I finally talked him off the ledge enough to get him out, and immediately locked the door behind him. So there's another crazy for you.
I got a crazy for you, and you're in it.
Okay.
Me preface this story. When I first got here, everybody's saying go see a certain group. I met you at For King and Country, November 2020, November 2019.
Yep.
2019 here at the KSC Young Center.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody is saying go see a certain group. Now I'm not going to give any certain group, flowers and stuff.
Right.
But I was at JC grocery store, Kroger here in the Southern Indiana, Kentucky area.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a God Only Knows t-shirt on. And this guy walks past and says, yeah, he sure does. You ever had one of them days where you're at some place you don't want to be?
Right.
And if someone says something to you,
like, oh, please.
they're fixing to grab all of the wrath you have in store.
Mm-hmm.
This guy walks past. He says, he sure does. And as he's walking past, I'm turning around to give him the what fors and their twos. And on the back of his shirt it says, Jesus is the way. That might not be the type of person I want to, And so my attitude changed real quick. We started talking. He says, you need to get into the local, stuff. He said, I'm a pastor over in Georgetown, which is a little, Georgetown, little town.
Oh, suburbs, yeah.
Yeah. You need to get a hold of Jeff Minton at 8th Street Pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And so Amy and I, we like pizza.
Sure.
I was wanting to put a concert. I've never done a concert before in my life. And I wanted to go to the New Albany Amphitheater.
Right.
Had no idea about bands, nothing. Just wanted to do a concert. Didn't know all the ins and outs. And so we went and talked to Jeffrey at 8th Street Pizza, and we fell in love with him and his ministry over there, his pizza. We've gone there a few times.
Oh, yeah.
And Jeff said, you need to get hold of Steve Green at WayFM. And so, told you all this to tell you this part of the story. I was coming home from a vaccine run. I ran the vaccine for COVID for a while. And I was coming off the road on a vaccine run, trying to get home. And you had called the house, thinking you were going to call the Pray for America office, the Taj Mahal in Corridor, the 20-story building. And you answered, and Amy answered the phone because she didn't recognize your number or it said WayFM on the call. She's like, Pray for America can help you. And you said, this is Steve Green, drum manager of WayFM. Is David Frazee available? All nice and professional. And Amy's like, oh my God, Steve. Me check Live 360. He's right around the corner. I'll give you the option. You want to talk to me for 5 minutes or you just want to wait? Because she knew we were playing phone tag.
Right.
And
right.
she knew this was an important phone call for me. And that was the start of a friendship.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yep.
We went from just I'm returning your call, you know, to an hour-long conversation that day.
Yep.
And again, episode 1, I told you what kind of person you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you that's the kind of person you are. Mm-hmm. You know, you take the time out for people. Now, I saw that flying. I think, what's flying around? A lot of people see here in the area, they'll see you on stages at KFC Young Center or the other night at the fair or at the gathering, Carver's Place out in Corden or wherever emceeing. But what people don't see is the support that you give to local bands, the Level Grounds, the Ragamuffin Sons, the Hush Harbors. You know, the
Chasing Judah. Yeah, a whole bunch of them. Yeah.
I mean, and I'm thinking the Beautiful Ruins.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even Grace at 11 and you know the bands that are no longer with us. Mm-hmm. You supported even to Pray for America. Well, we don't sing, dance, or tell jokes, but you still support us. But that's the type of person you are. You put more time and effort in supporting the locals than anything else. And so I think I can speak for everybody involved, everybody we mentioned, and say thank you. Mm-hmm. But I have a question.
Sure.
What got you involved with a local ministries like that?
You know, I think that a lot of people in my industry have this attitude that if the crowd's not a certain size or the artist is not at a certain level or something, that they're too good to go support that, or it's not worth their time or whatever. And you know, I guess it goes back to I'm not any more special than anybody else, and I don't ever think that I'm too good for anybody. And if you're sharing the gospel and you're trying to reach people, you know, we've got great friends that are working with Celebrate Recovery and working with the homeless and
Larry over there,
people that are coming out of prison. Man, I could be in any one of those spots myself. There's nothing different about me, and so I've never felt like I was too good. I think that pride will get you. And I've worked places where I've had bosses ask me, why do you do all this stuff? You don't have to do all this? And I go, no, but I get to, because this is a privilege that we get to work together for the kingdom, and that's why I do it. It's really that simple.
I remember the gazebo in the What Are You Waiting For show. Mm-hmm. And God, man, I don't know if you know this story or not. We went to City Hall. And I say we, Amy and I. Mm-hmm. And they sent us over to the museum people. This is kind of strange, but okay. You know, small town politics. Let's play them.
Small town, yeah.
The sidewalk, inside the sidewalk around the city square, belongs to the state.
Okay.
because the first state capitol building is inside. And they told me at the first meeting with them, it'll take him from 2 to 3 weeks to get the approval.
Hmm.
And so we had to push the date out,
Mm-hmm.
way out to get the approval. We had to pay the money to rent the facilities
Mm-hmm.
before we even got the approval.
Hmm.
And so I filled the application, I turned it in, said, God, it's in your hands.
Right.
10 minutes later, we had the approval.
He can make that kind of stuff happen.
Yeah. But we wanted the big crowds. I mean, we wanted the whole field filled full of people, and
Oh, sure.
7 bands, and we picked a day that there was nothing going on downtown Corydon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I even called Mark jokingly, but the local weatherman here said, Mark, we need no rain on this day. And I forget, I think it's September 17th, remember. Anyways, after we had picked this date, the city decided to do a heritage walk
Mm-hmm.
on this date.
Yep.
And they charge people $20, $25, $30 to get a green bag and walk around and get free stuff from the stores.
Mm-hmm.
And they was coming to the concert thinking it was a part of heritage. I remember one couple, while they were setting it up. I don't know if you got there or not yet.
Mm.
But we were setting it up, and the guy said, is this part of the Heritage Festival? And I forget who it was, said, it could have been somebody from Ragamuffin Sons or 3 Days Under. One of the group says, this is a part of God's festival. This is part of God. And those guys stayed, and we take you behind the scenes real quick. Whenever there's a Christian event going on, before the first note is played, before the MC, regardless if it's you or whoever, before the first words are spoke from that stage to welcome, we're backstage praying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so we're having our group prayer before the show. We invited that couple to hang with us and pray with us, which was a God thing.
Mm.
But even when the numbers were low, you still give the same enthusiasm,
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah.
I took a picture of you the other night. I texted it to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're on the fair stage, and
Mm-hmm.
can I just say something without making everybody mad? I think Level Ground Monday night at the fair did better than We the Kingdom.
They were pretty awesome.
They
really were.
Yeah, but
Yeah. Well, no, I just think that if you're doing God's work and doing it for the right reason, you deserve to be treated as well as if you're here versus here. You should be treated the same way.
Right.
So I don't see any other way to do it. So, so here's a funny one for you. There's this. I was at a radio station where we were playing Southern gospel music.
Uh-huh.
And
like Gaithers.
Yeah, the quartets. So these guys come in and they've got a record, a 45, if you remember those, and they got their new song and they're really proud of it. And I was the guy that would always give you at least one shot. I'll play your record once. Now, I may hold my nose the whole time, and I may know I'm never going to play it again, but I'll play it at least once. And so these guys come in, they have the song. It's absolutely terrible. Thankfully, it's only 2.5 minutes long. We played it. They went on their way. We did a little interview. They went on their way, and I took the record and tossed it into my office just so it wouldn't accidentally get played again. And the next day, I'm out. I did the morning shift, and my afternoon guy's on, and I'm out making sales calls, and I hear the song on the radio. I'm going, why? I thought I put that record in my office. And so I come in and I ask him at the end of the day, I said, what are you doing playing that song? And he says, oh, they brought me another one. And I said, let me have it. And so I took it and put it in my office. This went on, the stack was getting big in my office. Every day there's another copy of this record, and they're getting played every day. And I'm like, you got to stop doing this. And so I went to the receptionist, and I said, what's the deal with this record? Oh, they come by every day, and they bring me one. I just take it to the studio. I said, do me a favor. Stop taking it to the studio and just go put it in my office. And so for a couple of days, I didn't hear the song. Then I'm rolling around town and the next day, and the song's on again. And I'm going, wait, they're locked in my office. I told her not to take them to the studio. So I go back to the station, and I ask my afternoon guy again, what are you doing playing that song? Well, they brought me another copy. And I said, but how did they, I don't understand. And so I went to the receptionist. I said, did they bring you a record? What did you do with the record? And she said, oh, they haven't been in here. So it took me a couple of 3 days of hearing the song every day and a new record showing up every day to figure out that they had figured out how to come in the back door of the station and go straight to the studio and avoid the receptionist. And my afternoon guy, he just refused to take instruction, and so he just kept playing it. And I finally reached a point, this is probably not a very Christian thing to do, but I finally reached a point where I didn't know how to get it through this guy's head. We are not playing this song, okay? So I took the 145 that was still in the office, never mind the stack that was locked in my office, but the one that was in the studio. While my guy's on the air, I walked over to the counter and I popped it across the counter, broke the edge off of it. I threw that in the trash, and I broke some more of it off, and I broke it down to where all that was left was the label. And I handed it to him, and I said, this is the only copy of this record you were ever allowed to play again. You can play this one as often as you want to, but I better never see another copy of this record in the studio. And I think he was so shocked by me breaking the record into pieces that it finally connected with him, and we never played the song again. But yeah.
Let me guess, the group went on to make top.
Then there was another guy, same station. Guy comes in, he's got a terrible song, and it's 5.5 minutes long, so that's really bad. And all of a sudden, I'm getting more requests for this song than the Kingsmen or the Cathedrals, the top artist in the world, in the whole genre. And I'm getting more requests for this guy's song. I'm like, okay, I know this is not real. This is Mama and Daddy and Uncle Joe and all the kids and the next door neighbor. He's put all these people up to call in to request the song. And so we weren't going to play it. And so he comes by one day and he brings me the Jesus Watch. Now, if you've ever seen a Jesus watch before, but Jesus is in the middle, and there's a disciple at each hour.
Oh, man.
It's the Jesus watch. Made in China, probably cost about $2, but he brought it to me, just a little something for you. Now, I know how this works, because now I owe him, because he brought me the Jesus watch, so I'm going to have to play his song, right? And so, again, the calls just keep coming. Just like 100 people are calling requesting this song. And he calls me one day, and he's very belligerent, and he wants to know why I'm not playing his song, and he used some creative language in his question, and he said, you owe me to play my song. I said, hang on, is this about the Jesus watch? Because if it is, I'll leave it at the receptionist counter and you can come pick it up tomorrow, but we're not playing the song. And I put the watch back up on the front counter. I don't know if they ever came and got it, but that's how people get a little little belligerent.
We got pest control people come by our house right now. The Terminex, the door-to-door salesman. And so they're like 4 and 5 deep, standing in the driveway waiting for the next person. It's pretty deep. Well, guys, we're going to end part 2, episode 2, with this. If we can do anything for you, if we can help you in your walk, in your talk, or you have questions about your faith, you can reach out to us. You can reach out to WayFM. We'll say this: if you need prayer, if you text the word text the word prayer to 91979. Did I say that right?
That's right. That's right.
They'll send you a link when you go on their prayer wall. If you need a Bible, you can text Bible to 91979. And WayFM is a crowd-funded, which means the crowd of people who listen to the radio station keeps them on the air.
Yep.
And so, not saying they need your dime, they need your quarter. And so you can text 919, text give to 91979. They'd be more than happy to send you the information, where you can become a partner of WayFM.
Yeah, and thank you for that.
Yeah. So
in the next episode, we're going to talk about what happens when things go wrong. And I got about 3. We did 3 in a row of things went wrong, and we'll talk about it in the next show.
All right. We'll see you next time. Thank you. And we love you. We appreciate you. And as always, we thank God for His scars.
Yep.
They give ours a meaning.